Who would be a Wolves fan, eh?
On goes ball. People might yet win it here for Wolves. Flash in the shot. What a goal! For you in all its magnificence.
Good evening, one and all. It is your host, Little Dan, and tonight I've got with me Gully. How are things, my friend?
Things are good, mate. How are you?
Shattered, deflated, but I'm ready for a good cup run.
Deflated? What's going on? I'm deflated. Can't have
I'm
that.
still on that transfer window. I know you're on the sensible side of things, but for me personally, and I hated using Bournemouth as a reference. Bournemouth at the moment are 1 point off the automatic promotion places, and they've just spent the most in the Championship in the January transfer window because they've seen an opportunity to make big money, and they've spent a little bit of money trying to get there. And I just feel like we've missed the boat a little bit, trying to be a bit. I'm not saying we had to buy Mbappe or anyone like that, but with Adama going, I still think you have to bolster the squad because we've exited that window weaker than we started.
You know, I hear you, because a lot of teams do it. We've done it in the past where we've been in that position on a January transfer window, able to go and fight for promotion. I think it was Christophe Berra the one year we got promoted, Benica Phoebe the other year. And I think there's a big difference between the level of player you can find that's going to bump you over the line to get promoted and the level of player you're going to find that's going to bump you to get you into a European slot in the Premier League. And regardless of how much money you spend, there's just more of the, Bournemouth can sign a player. I think Newcastle signed like Daryl Murphy one year, proven Championship player, was going to get you goals at that level. But did he ever even get a crack at the Premier League with them? I'm not even sure. So it was literally a needs must signing at the time. And who cares thereafter, really, once they're promoted?
Yeah, it's just I'm just a bit deflated. Like you mentioned, we've signed players like Benica Phoebe, Christophe Berra. I mean, you can even definitely say Carl Reed scored 2 important goals the year we got promoted. I just felt like we needed a bit more bodies. I know we've got players coming back, Neto, Johnny Mosquera, but you still can't guarantee they're going to be the players that they were before their injuries, can you?
You can't guarantee it, no, of course not. And it will take a little bit of time to get them up to speed, but we have a whole body of medics and sports scientists and physios that are paid to make sure that they do reach those levels. And if they're putting a timescale of, 4 to 5 weeks probably before they're ready for first team action, then realistically, I don't think that's too long to wait to expect them to, to then feel the need to make a signing instead. You see what I mean?
Yeah, obviously this transfer window, we haven't done nothing. We've signed Portuguese window Chiquinho. That Wolves have done a PR spinner and used the option of triggering the permanent signing of Hwang. Just want to say congratulations to Hwang and South Korea. They completed their qualification, finishing. They could still finish top of their group, but they're currently second after a 2-0 win away to Syria last night. What did you make to the Hwang ghost signing, if you will?
I mean, it doesn't really change much for us, does it? It's a situation where we had the option in the summer. I don't know why we didn't really wait until the summer to actually exercise it, but from what they
was there any coincidence? Was there any coincidence that the day they announced the Hwang signing, Adama goes the day after?
Perhaps not. And yeah, you could make it out to be some kind of PR exercise, but the likelihood of Adama going was relatively high, I think, anyway, whether it be Spurs, whether it be Barcelona. So I don't think that was ever going to be a pill that Wolves fans were happy to swallow, regardless of what they decided about Hwang. And the jury is still out on Hwang, I think.
We've had the discussion over Hwang a few times, haven't we, Gully, in regards to he started well with goals, but he does drift in and out of games quite regularly.
Yeah, he's not a surefire, absolute, bona fide, quality player that's going to improve our team. I think at this point in time, I think he's got useful tools that Bruno can take advantage of to coach into a better Premier League standard player. But I think he's got a bit of a way to go yet, despite that knack for scoring goals, which none of the rest seem to have. So he is useful for sure.
Where do you stand on the negativity mindset that there's a possibility that Adama could come back in the summer?
I don't know. He's left it hanging, hasn't he? Because he's not said his goodbyes on social media or anything, has he? So maybe he was advised not to. In the case that obviously it was an option to purchase and not an obligation. Barcelona have since come out and said they will be looking to exercise that option, but you don't know what's going to happen. He could end up, breaking his leg on his debut, and it's not worthy of any transaction being made with him missing so much football over the next 6 to 12 months or something. I personally think it is a formality because he's going to play well and he's going to succeed over there. So yeah, I've kind of said bye to him in my head anyway.
He's going to absolutely demolish that league, isn't he? I think even Aubameyang's going to go hit a bit of a spree with goals now with that sort of service that Adama will provide in that league, because the fullbacks in the top half of the league, there's only sort of 2, 3, 4 that are standout top level left backs, isn't there?
Well, don't rule out Luke De Jong as well, because he's the kind of player
he'll thrive when Adama crosses that lump.
But I just think for a start, he won't get kicked from pillar to post like he does, in the Premier League, and it's a simple fact that he gets stopped in his tracks so often by unfair means that it's always going to be a caveat to any of his performances. But the athleticism that he shows in the Premier League will take him a lot further in the Spanish league, I think 100%. But we'll see. I don't know. Aubameyang, I didn't see the value in signing someone like him personally. He'll score goals. He's not a player who I've ever thought of as being team enhancing. I've always thought, even Lacazette was a better option for Arsenal up top, because he gives you more to the side. Players like Smith Rowe, Saka seem to thrive in his presence, but not necessarily in Aubameyang's, despite the fact he scores goals. Never been that impressed with him, to be honest.
Do you see any sort of financial wrangling in this deal with Adama to contribute to Wolves signing Trincao in the summer?
Yeah, I think we alluded to this on the stream on Monday, where we are in bed with Barcelona at this point. There's some back scratching going on. I think Barca have become in their need to move players out as quickly as possible. They've been, how would you say it, become quite an attractive proposition to Traore and Mendes, who has been able to take advantage of that and probably make a hell of a lot of money out of transactions. He's the master of the deal, isn't he? So the Trincao future, depending on how he does, ultimately, I still don't think it's going to be a decision that we won't make on our own behalf. It's still going to be a decision that we make off the back of performances. But yeah, there's clearly going to be a few handshakes maybe going on there that allows the accountants to be quite creative, as they need to be with Barcelona at the moment.
We all woke up this morning to see that our Mexican sensation, Raul Jimenez, was back in the goal-scoring charts for his nation, scoring 1-0 from the penalty spot to beat Panama. The comment that tickled me today was from @ArchBell on Twitter, who said he's got onions the size of Saturn when it comes to scoring penalties. But from some of the Twitter followers that I came across at Spicy Mexi. Raul Jimenez playing like he wants Tata Martino fired by midnight. His performance wasn't overly appreciated by the Mexicans last night. Did you see much of it? What did you make of his penalty? How does he make it look so easy? But the one penalty we need him to score,
Yeah,
Bono saves it.
Freaking Bono. I didn't watch the game, I'll be honest, but Raul, back to that conundrum, isn't it? Where prior to the international break and prior to the Brentford game, where obviously he was injured, we're still umming and ahhing about his performance levels, aren't we? And if he's not necessarily going to tear it up at international level, where he's playing against Panamanian defenders, it doesn't fill you with too much hope that he's going to come back refreshed and ready to get back on the goal scoring trail for us, because we need him to pick his levels up and we need him to start scoring goals. Like it's as simple as that, and it's fair to make that claim that he's just not doing enough at the moment.
Are you talking in regards to energy levels or just sort of gameplay, game management?
No, I don't see him as being, lethargic or anything. I think he's trying a bit too hard to be the central cog to everything at the moment. I think you notice it when Fabio Silva, that he doesn't necessarily get involved in the play until he needs to, which I think is a really important trait. I've always hated forwards, even like flipping Sunday League level, who want the ball at every single opportunity, because yes, it's a good trait to have, to want the ball and to be brave, but you don't need to receive it every single time. Like it's actually quite detrimental at times to receive a pass in areas of the pitch where you're not going to have an impact, or you're going to lose the ball, or it's not going to, result in him having a chance at goal. Even like stay higher up the pitch. I think sometimes be a threat in behind the defence. You don't need to come towards the ball every single time.
Christopher Rogers in the comments section has just asked a good question. Looking towards the summer, would you rather have a big name signing? He's mentioned Mbappe. Let's just be a bit realistic. A big name signing like a Renato Sanchez, or a few squad rotation players?
I think bottom line, we need to improve the starting lineup. That's it for me. You can kind of create that pyramid effect where someone comes in over the top and those players filter down into squad players thereafter, because they've been kind of usurped by the talent that's come into the club. Players like, and regardless of how well he's playing at the moment, we can't expect him to do it forever, but Moutinho becoming a really useful squad option in the next year to 18 months is a perfect scenario if you can bring in the kind of player who's going to replicate his performance levels and perhaps even better them.
So as I said, Mexico beat Panama 1-0 last night. They're currently third in their World Cup qualifying table, joint on points with the USA. You'd think that's pretty much them through, but they've still got a couple of tough games to come to properly seal it. But then you look at sort of Canada, Mexico, South Korea. We may have quite a few players at Qatar 22 with the likes of sort of Hwang, Jimenez, Theo Corbiano, if he carries on his form at Milton Keynes Dons, regardless of like the likes of the Portuguese contingent and Conor Cody for England. Quite an exciting period to look forward to, this World Cup coming up.
Yeah, it's slightly conflicting because the whole rigmarole around the Qatar World Cup isn't exactly one you want to feel too positively about, with the deaths that are going on within construction around the stadiums. The fact that they got the World Cup in the first place feels farcical. But like you say, it could be an exciting one for Wolves fans in particular, just because we'll have so many players to watch and cheer on in many different guises. But I did just want to point out very quickly, Dan, that the shit have actually just appointed Steve Bruce as their manager.
I mean, it's been widely reported as it in the last sort of 48 hours. I'm ecstatic to a degree, but there's still a bit of sort of disappointment because it'll probably get him promoted, won't it?
I don't know. I don't know how good their squad is relative to the rest of the league. From what I've seen, I mean, I'm unfortunately, very closely tied to a number of West Brom fans because my mum's entire family are all season ticket holders and stuff. And we're at a family event at the weekend, and they basically told me that it is the worst standard of championship that they've ever seen. And they've spent plenty of time in there over the last 10, 15 years, as we know. So for them to then fail as well at this point, which is what they are doing, goes to show how far they've kind of fallen, having got relegated and not really lost any players like to speak of. Say Mateus Pereira was one that left, but yeah, Steve Bruce, he's always going to get hold of a job, isn't he, one way or another? And I really don't want him to succeed, partly because it's West Brom, but partly just because that tried and tested, same old jobs for the boys kind of mentality. I'm not a fan of it. It just doesn't sit well with me that there's just a cycle of managers that are going to get the same old jobs all the time.
I mean, you mentioned there about sort of the old boys getting the same jobs. Mick McCarthy's been lined up to take over Sunderland this week alongside, I think Roy Keane's one of the other favourites for the job. It's interesting situation.
I think that should make them fight to the death to get the job, maybe.
I wouldn't. I mean, I know Mick McCarthy ain't no spring chicken, but I still reckon he packs a punch.
Probably, yeah. Oh, yeah. He wouldn't give any shit.
Like that nose has been broken so many times. He ain't going down off a broken nose or retiring on the stool, is he?
It's so bent. It's probably almost difficult to break now. To a certain extent. But yeah, like even Roy Keane, he's been out of work for so long. Why is he now walking into a job? It just feels strange. We're out of work from a top job perspective. I know he's done assistant manager roles with like Ireland and Villa, but I don't see the attraction. I really don't. We all know his persona, his personality. Why isn't a young manager, who's doing well at another club getting looked at? But I guess they've tried that as well, haven't they?
Yeah, there seems like there's just no cohesion and a lot of panic going on at Sunderland, getting beat 6-0 away at Bolton last weekend.
Danny Bart
had a nightmare debut, didn't he? And obviously that was the catalyst which got Lee Johnson the sack. But let's get back to Wolves this weekend, Saturday, 3 p.m. at home to Norwich in the FA Cup. Dean Smith, they've had a little bit of decent form in recent weeks. Obviously, the 3-0 win away at Watford, which cost Ranieri his job, was massive in their terms for keeping in the race to stay up this season. Do you think that win may come as a benefit to us, where they might have their eye more on the league now?
I mean, in theory, they shouldn't be a priority for them. But with every team having had a bit of a break, I guess fixture congestion isn't quite at the forefront of everybody's minds right now. But there he is, the prodigal son.
Yes.
But
hoodies today. Carry on.
Different hoodie, sorry.
Yeah.
What's that?
I'm keeping it down now, so.
You sure?
Yeah.
He's had his Asbar removed, so he's actually the hoodie's down today. Got a lovely Wolves badge haircut at the moment, Stu. Just the way that the receding bit at the bottom comes down.
It's like latter day Steve Bull. This is getting to.
It's proper bully cut. That is.
Yeah.
We were talking about Norwich, Stu, just before you came on.
Yeah, so carry on.
I just think that there's no reason for them to necessarily weaken their lineup or anything like that. Motivation might be slightly down compared to a league game, but they're all probably fighting for their positions within the side as well, aren't they? So, and Josh Sargent is on one. Or Screech, is it? Yeah.
What's your thoughts on Norwich heading to the game, Stu? I mean, I'd like to think that we're all thinking that it's a game that we should be winning, but it's still the FA Cup. You never know what's going to happen.
I think, well, if it wasn't him in charge, I don't think they'd be bothered, to be honest. But he's got a bit under his bonnet against us, after his past endeavours. So I think they'll go pretty strong, sadly. I mean, I'd like them to put a week inside out and we absolutely batter them, which would be hilarious. But no, I think they'll take it semi-seriously as well. I mean, when they're not going to be playing any more games than we are they? So and they ain't playing catch up like Burnley. So what's the point in weakening the side when the state that they're in, winning games breeds confidence, don't it? So you think that, like Gully said, they've got a point to prove, all of them. So whoever's in there is not going to be swanning around like the work would have been under Farkas. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as people think it is.
No, I did look at our historical head-to-head, and we've only played each other 3 times in the FA Cup in the history of football. We've won 2, and the other one was a 1-1 draw. So hopefully that run continues. But we usually do play well against Norwich at home, and it's been quite a few years since we got beat at home by Norwich. I think maybe like you and Robert was playing last time. No, sorry, Cameron Jerome scored a few years back, didn't he? But we have got a good run against Norwich at home.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a game when like Ebanks Blake and Carl Courtray did hat tricks or something like that?
That was the season we got promoted, and Ebanks Blake got a hat trick. They weren't like amazing finishes, but I literally remember singing in the South Bank, "He's why we're going up," because we were absolutely dog shit that night, and he still got an hat trick.
We were terrible.
Yeah,
obviously you pair him as well. Stu's definitely older than me, and Gully's I've got a couple of years on Gully. And sort of the FA Cup runs that we've had in our lifetime, what sort of FA Cup games stand out for you in regards to bad FA Cup games? We can all look towards that 3-0 at home to the Albion with the pie and the pint, but don't want to touch on that for too long. What sort of games stand out for you for defeats?
For years, it was always a case of we know it's going to happen, so they all kind of blended into one. More the Carabao than the FA Cup. I can't think of any off the top of my head that are, apart from that game, that are like cruelly bad.
Stu, you've seen a lot more home and away games for Wolves than probably me and Gully, like consecutively or whatever. But have we ever been beaten by a lower league side?
Yeah,
surely, I mean, like a really a game that we really should have been winning, but we just, it was a proper FA Cup upset.
Well, yes, Solbacken's last game. Luton were in the conference.
In the same division now, weren't they?
No, they were in the
conference. Andre Gray was
really?
playing I think, from what I remember. Yeah.
Yeah, they were in the conference and we were in the championship.
Yeah. I didn't realise it was that bad of a defeat, to be honest.
They bastard us.
The players down tools.
Yeah, well, he got applauded off the pitch. It was the players who got booed off that day. I mean, the away fans hadn't turned against him, but it was, you ain't going to sack 25 wasters, am you? So then we ended up with Saunders, which is worse. But yeah, that was a bad night. But I mean, we got stuck there as well. We didn't get home until 11 o'clock, and it's never. I mean, I know Blake's all excited about possibly going there because it's like it's traditional old ground. But if they get promoted in that dump, I swear to God, they can't play that. They have to play somewhere else. They have to play at Watford, surely.
Is there any goals in the FA Cup against Wolves that sort of stand out?
There was that game where Palace scored like 3 absolute screamers. Was that in the cup at Molineux? Like, it wasn't. I know which one you're referring to, but I'm on about mid-90s. Chris Armstrong, maybe.
I've got him right here, Gully.
There we go.
I mean, it's just these goals. I mean, I know like Crystal Palace literally just lumping balls into the box here. John Solarco long throws. I mean, we've met Ian Day. We look like Van Basten there. It's ridiculous. You've got Darren Pitcher here volleying one like.
This is ridiculous. Jesus.
Mike Stoll that night was absolutely pillaged. I mean, this one, Chris Armstrong smashes one in the stanchion, and you just think
stuck up there.
We were a good team in the Championship that season, and Palace was only sort of mid-table in the Prem, and you think bloody hell, if we do get promoted, we need to spend massive.
Yeah, I remember that game for the stanchion thing as well. But now watching them goals back, I was thinking. Because it was almost like that Southampton game, wasn't it? Whether they didn't have that many shots, but
the 6-0,
it was like that.
Saganowski just absolutely on fire that day. You got to bring back those drop net goals, though, haven't you? And it's just
Bring the
so good
sanctions
to
back.
watch. So good to watch that.
That's the reason to go to Luton, I suppose.
Any
They've
other
probably
goals
got
that
those really
stand out?
really shallow ones like they had at the Dell. Like
Yeah.
the ball can barely go over the line because it's so close to the advertising hoarding.
He touches the back of the boards when he goes in.
Yeah.
Any other goals that stand out for you?
There was
Against
one
us.
again, Southampton away when we queued up overnight. 2002.
Chris Marston, was it by any chance?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
We had a good. That was the year
We had
that
such a good
we beat
run that year.
Newcastle. Yeah.
yeah,
We
we're
played
all
really
up,
well.
we're all proper up for the cup that year, and then Southampton away. We've never been there before at St Mary's. Queued up overnight in the old North Bank.
And then he started Keith Andrews, I think, in central midfield, and everyone was just pissed off.
It was bonkers, like you said. We had such a good run. We beat Newcastle. We beat Leicester, who I think there was either in the Premiership or there was in the promotion race.
They got promoted with us. That
we
year.
beat them. Did we beat them 4-1 in the FA Cup?
Georgian Dar scored a couple of crackers.
He went on one of his cracking Georgian Dar runs. I remember we beat Rochdale in like the 5th or the 6th round because I remember it was like
Paul Simpson was their player manager, I think. From what I remember.
I remember it was one of my first times where I spotted myself on Sky Television. And if you look through the nets to a little bit towards the right, you can see my little head. I remember thinking, "Wow, I'm on Sky TV! Wow."
The only time I was ever on Match of the Day was when we were 4-0. Was it 4-0 down at Swansea when we were already relegated?
We drew 4-4.
Yeah. Was there with ironic cheers? And it zoomed in on us. That was the night when we'd gone to this pub somewhere in the middle of nowhere where we'd gone on a minibus the year before, and my brother's mate it was the first time he'd ever seen a peacock, and he was enthralled by it. He was like chasing it around the pub garden. He couldn't believe that it existed.
This is the exoticness of why West Brom really want to get to Europe, because they'll never see peacocks.
Was it fanning its tail by any chance?
It got excited, yeah.
Is it? No way. That's apparently a really rare thing to see. Like...
Yeah, and I don't think it was like a homosexual peacock. I don't think it was just. I think it was either scared or it was doing it for other reasons.
Hungry like the wolf in the comment section. Love beating Norwich. My cousin is a fan of them, and he's best mates with Ian Culverhouse. I mean, Ian Culverhouse of the Talk Sport world.
We should have a game one day, shouldn't we?
Yeah, I still don't get the rules, but I'm willing to give it a go.
They're on the website, mate. They're on the website.
Yeah, but I tried reading it, Gully, and it just went over my head. I'll happily name random footballers to oblivion, but if there's rules to it, then. He said, I even wore my Wolves mask to my aunt's funeral last year. Condolences on the funeral, the loss of your family member, but great use of the Wolves face mask. Guys, keep going back to the game on Saturday. We've recently, in the last couple of days, had a collaboration with Forza Football. Hopefully people have seen it out there. It's a nice little app similar to the Sky Sports Score Centre and Live Score. You can get sort of reminders when your team's playing, instant lineups, goals as soon as they go in, any sort of moments within the game, whether it's substitutions, red cards, half-time result, full-time result. You can catch up with the latest league table as soon as goals go in, upcoming fixtures. February is a huge month, isn't it? I mean, we all want to do well in the cup, but this month is really going to set us up for the rest of the season, isn't it?
With 18 players as well. It's
nothing new, Stu. It's nothing new.
It's basically it's Europa football again, and look what happened when we went to Besiktas and Man City.
The double Arsenal thing. I mean, I'll put a Twitter to Duncan Alexander that it has to be the first and only time ever that a team has played another team twice in the same month on a Thursday.
Yeah. The initial Thursday coming next week, I don't understand why it is that date. Stu, you'll probably tell me why. But why is it Thursday night?
No idea.
Stu, you meant to know these
Amazon
things?
Prime, isn't it?
Is it a Prime game? No, the first one was. The
Yeah, I
first
think
one,
that this rearranged one's been put on
The
Amazon as well.
Christmas, yeah. So the one that was
Yeah.
Christmas period, yeah, that was on Amazon. But this
Yeah.
one was always going to be a Thursday night, apparently, the home game.
is it on? It can't be on Sky, can it?
I think them definitely
No.
both on Amazon.
I've no idea what it's a
Live
Thursday.
checking it.
Yeah,
Next
maybe it's a
Thursday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Next Thursday we're on Amazon, and then the 24th we're on Amazon.
Maybe the Amazon have got a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday week of games, maybe or something.
Another great process within the Forza Football app is you can get the latest team news from either your side and the current the next opposition. Norwich there have got Lucas Rupp and Matthias Norman out. According to that, Willy Bolly was seen back at Compton on running out on the field today. Johnny Otro is maybe a possibility for the weekend. We'll come to that in a few minutes. And Hwang Hee-chan and Pedro Neto can't be far off now. Our illustrious leader Richard Hobbs has predicted his lineup for Saturday's game. Keanu Hover in at right wing back, and Chiquinho and Fabio starting up front in a three with Daniel Powdens. What do you make to Richard's prediction there, guys?
I think it's pretty spot on. Apart from, I would have expected Neves instead of Matinho. But again, it's either or for this game, ain't it, really? I mean, I'm glad that you used that picture of Richard on the other one.
I was going to say, I thought we already had a picture of Richard. Could have used.
It was a possibility, but I wasn't able to process it in time to get it on the internet.
Just to clarify, next week is on BT. It's a BT midweek thing. So they've got Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's why we're on there. But the one after is on Amazon Prime.
Any other changes that you think could be made? You mentioned Neves there starting. Do you think Semedo could start again at right wing back like he did against Sheffield United?
I think because we haven't played a game for a couple of weeks, I think he goes as strong as he wants. Like I see Semedo starting personally. I see, maybe Fabio ahead of Raul, but Trincao, I would guess will come in instead of Chiquinho.
Did either of you guys see Chiquinho play in the under-23s on YouTube?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it. He looked above the level, to be honest, which is a good sign, clearly. And inventive, I think, is what you'd say about him. He's not a one-trick pony by any means. He had some nice little flicks and interplay with the guys around him. Had a really good chance, which he should have scored. Like he was almost one-on-one, basically. But he did win the free kick that led to the first goal, from what I remember. So, looked promising, and hopefully he integrates himself a bit more into the team.
My only fear is if he thinks about bringing Marcel back in. But I mean, hopefully he doesn't, and he stays where he is. And like Gully said, because we've had a week off and we need to get up to match speed quickly before the real fun kicks in. I mean, I would kind of hope for Semedo, and apparently Hoover would have played if he hadn't got COVID in the last round. So we'll see. I think it's either or, because they're not great, are they? But ideally, I would go as strong as possible. But with Ruddy, because obviously it's the rules.
Those are the rules. And thanks to everyone who keeps listening, commenting. You can download the Forza Football app, either using that QR code on the screen now or via the relevant links on our social media channels. We'll have a quick break and then we'll have a little quiz, shall we?
Hi, it's Richard from Wolves Fancast here. Just interrupting today's show before we get back to some questionable opinions and opinionated questions. To talk to you a little bit about our sponsors, Pixel Yeti Media. They are a design agency that put you and your business first, from web design, logo and branding design, and marketing. If you have any marketing needs, get in touch with them to find out how they can help you get it right. They are over at pixelyetimedia.com. Now let's get back to a show where we can give you some really forced wordplay, niche cultural references, and maybe even a bit of football talk.
Right, guys. Quiz this week. I'm bringing back pictures. So for the audio listeners out there, I'm afraid you're going to have to start watching the live streams on a Thursday night. The first one this week these are all January transfer signings. So I know you pair had quite a bit of a discussion on this on Monday night. So try and cast your memories back. The first one is name the winger in the picture here, and I'll give you a couple of seconds to have a little think, and then I'll come to you first, Stu. Who's that?
And the winger.
Got
Is it? Oh, is he actually? Is he a proper winger, or is he kind of like a 10 as well?
I think
Joe
predominantly
Mason?
he was. I'll come to you, Gully.
Ben Marshall.
The correct answer, Stu, was Ben Marshall.
There we go.
Party boy.
Like a fresh-faced Pete Doherty, there he is.
He had a pretty good under the cosh. If anybody's listened to it, best quote was that Nuno wanted to build the team around him, which I found quite interesting. But yeah, worth a listen.
Right, next one. I'll come to you this time first, Gully, and then we'll see if Stu can claw a point back. Name this winger.
Oh Jesus!
Looks a bit like
image.
looks like a bit of a burn victim in that pixelated picture, but
It looks a bit like Ribery.
He does look like Pro Evolution Frank Ribery in that picture. Any guesses, Gully?
How long ago are we talking? Oh God!
Maybe he's wearing a retro Wolves top in the sale.
Oh, okay, right. So maybe not actually a retro player. Freaking hell! January signings, you say?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Do you want to jump in for a steal, Stu?
I ain't got a clue, to be honest.
My first thought was James Henry, but I don't think he signed in January, did he?
Nah.
Well, this is.
I'm sure he did in my research. It was
Oh,
James Henry.
Oh, really?
It was James Henry, yeah.
That can't be. That looks like an actual shirt from that time, rather than a. Is this from Plant's book?
I don't know. I just searched James Henry, and that's what a picture that came up.
So the replica didn't have Spall on it.
It is very misleading him wearing a retro shirt though, because you can't place him then when he's all pixelated.
No, that was the whole point of the picture that I used, to be honest. Next one is name the former striker.
Oh, is it the It's Ben's mate, VLP.
Gully?
No, it's Bennick, isn't it?
Correct answer was Son of God, Benikafobe.
Yeah.
I did use that picture because I thought them gloves might stumble a few people.
Yeah, that's what. It looks like he's holding bananas.
I mean,
they're all
guys,
strange colour. What he was playing out of there, but I don't know.
he scored against the Albion last week. I know he's still sort of a bit marmite to some Wolves fans after he down tools to join Bournemouth, but then coming back to score 6 goals, it gets promoted under Nuno. I still love the guy. What's your opinions on Benikafobe?
He had to take his chance, didn't he? I mean, he had a chance at Premier League football after we missed out. So it's a short career. It's like all of them. They've got no affinity for the place, have they? Other than the fact that they're employed here. So I didn't have a problem with it, and it made sense all round. He had his chance. It didn't work, and now he's back in the Championship where he started. So, and he got them a manager sacked. So he's all right, wasn't he? No problem.
If you think back to the time though, we just lost Sacco. Dicko then had his ligament injury. He was on his own up top. Like, I'm not being funny. He was on a hard into nothing, and we weren't going anywhere as a club. So if the money was there and he had the opportunity, he's better off just taking the chance. And it didn't quite work out, but fair enough.
Do you not think he deserved a crack with Wolves in the Premier League instead of Bonatini?
Yeah, we couldn't turn that 2 million profit in 3 weeks or 3 days or whatever it was.
I mean, I know he scored six goals that back end of that. That's it. I've never felt like it quite worked with him in the team though, if I'm honest, when he played. So I didn't see Nuno really taking a chance on him as even a backup striker.
Right, let's go to the next one. Former Fancast favourite of the David Evans era.
Is it Prince?
I think it's is it Duckens?
Duckens Nathan.
The correct answer was Duckens Nason.
Bloody hell. He didn't play a game for us, did he? From what I remember.
No.
No,
I think he Coventry, he did all right on loan, from what I know. But an interesting signing, wasn't it? Haiti. From
Right.
Haiti, was it?
yeah. One last picture question. Name the winger.
Oh, it's Jordan Graham. He's shaved his bonds, hasn't he?
He's
Yeah.
gone for the Stu haircut there, hasn't he? Old Jordan Graham. Currently is he still at Birmingham City?
Yeah, well,
No,
he's worked
is he?
his way back up into the Championship now because he was down in League 1, League 2. But yeah, he's clearly still got a bit, I think.
So, Stu, I'm going to come to you for the next question because Gully's absolutely romped you in the picture round. This is the last question. 10 years ago tomorrow, Wolves came from behind to win 2-1 after which QPR player was sent off for grabbing Roger Johnson round the face?
Oh, God. I mean, anyone could have grabbed Roger Johnson around the face, to be honest. I can't even think of a QPR player from that time.
They had a right mishmash of players.
Do you remember who scored that day? Obviously, we've got Matt Jarvis. Do you remember who got the other goal that day?
I think was it Doyle?
I wanted Stu to get one right, Gully.
Is it Basong?
Oh, shit, sorry.
It was Doyle.
He did play in that
Sebastian
game,
Basong did play, yeah.
Yeah, he did. So
Kevin Doyle and Matt Jarvis after a Bobby Zamora header, but there was a sending off by a QPR player after he grabbed Johnson round the face. Who was that QPR player?
Oh, I think I remember this.
Neda Manua?
Gully?
Was it Jibril Cisse?
The correct answer was Lord Jibril Cisse. As you can see there, bottom right, Stu Basong looking like he doesn't know what a red card is. Looks a bit startled there as Mark Clattenburg wafts
Look
this
at
red.
How is Sean Derry and Jibril Cisse in the same football team?
Who's
You
that?
imagine, like, they would have had,
Ferdinand and
Joey
Bobby
Barton,
Zamora.
Bobby Zamora, Adel Tarapt, and then you got Sean Derry, the Silver Fox.
And probably had Clint Hill or someone like that as well, didn't they? Like,
They had a bonkers side.
Weird team.
Do they have a Brazilian keeper as well?
They had Julio Cesar, didn't they, from Inter
Julio
Milan? Yeah.
Cesar,
Hungry like the Wolf, you give Stu too much credit. Hungry like the Wolf says, at what point does Stu realise Gully has all the answers and they're just winding him up?
No.
Gully's just that in tune with Wolves. I won't knock his knowledge of our side. Guys, 3 o'clock Saturday, home to Norwich. What's your score predictions?
I'm going for a battering. Why not? 3-0.
Gully?
1-0 to the Wanderers. That's the cliche now.
I'm going to go with Gully, Stu. I think it's going to be a 1-0 to the Wanderers. I think with hopefully get Fabio bags the winner because I really want him to kick on now. We could have brought in a striker to give Raul some proper competition, but I think he's earned his stay now. And come the summer, Fabio could be pushing to be leading our line.
But you are forgetting, though. You are forgetting the main part of this weekend that Bruno Lage has never had the power of the Graham Hughes stand behind him, has he? And now he will.
That's true. That is true.
The rumblings of the foundation.
Yeah.
No wonder it wasn't fit for purpose because it was clearly too atmospheric to handle. We have all of a sudden started scoring goals though, so yeah, who knows?
Was it something like we scored 3 in 8 in January and we scored 8 in 3 in February?
Other way around. Well, it would have been December.
January.
Yeah, sorry. We've been clicking. We're starting to cook on gas. And hopefully this Saturday, home to Norwich, 3 o'clock, we can put one foot in the fifth round of the FA Cup. With the teams that are sort of due to go out again in this round, there's a few Premier League sides that are playing. It's starting to open up. And I think Wembley's on the horizon. What about you guys?
I don't like the fact that
Is there a Premier League side at the moment, including Man City, that you wouldn't fancy us against? Because I think with the Champions League about to start up soon, Man City won't put up a massively strong side if we were to get them in the 5th round.
Yeah, but they can still put their B team is still. They haven't got one, have they? They've just got like 25 players.
The game at the Etihad, I don't think we were out of that game until Jimenez got sent off. Like, we lost the game because we had 10 men and a fucking dodgy refereeing decision. We didn't lose the game because we were any worse than them.
Which is exactly what I was just going to say. That
I don't fear anyone.
If we got one of them teams at home, I wouldn't fear anyone whatsoever, just because of who we've been in the last couple of months. But ideally, you'd want to avoid them and get someone. I mean, if we carry on getting teams like this at home, then fine. I mean, there's now all my dreams of going to somewhere new is all dashed again for another year. So let's not get any away draws. Let's get them all at home. Nice, easy way through. And the next round's midweek as well. So all of the lights and all the usual fireworks. Well, not fireworks, flame fiascos and stuff going on. Bring it on.
I still think avoid Man City, and there ain't a team that we should be worried about. But I still think we could beat Man City in the FA Cup because Champions League's going to start up, and it's just not a priority. There ain't enough money in it. He loves to win the Carabao Cup. He don't care about the FA Cup. He's twisted.
The Champions League is his kryptonite at the moment, so he's going to want to get the monkey off his back.
He can't get it off Gully. He'll have to spend another $500 million, and then he'll still flop it.
Right. I definitely think it's time to wrap it up now, Dan. More bollocks,
As always, thanks for listening to the Wolves Fancast, a part of the 90minute.com network. I'm going to push Forza Football app one more time.
Audio Jungle.
Guys, thanks for listening. Hopefully, we'll be back on Sunday with a podcast where we'll be talking about Wolves in the 5th round of the FA Cup. Take care.
Who would be a Wolves fan, eh?